Emotional wellness is the source of all abundance. As women, we bring all of who we are into everything we do, from our families, our professional life, our friendships, and even our businesses. I believe that there is a divine order and structure to our lives. Through my life, I've discovered through my own journey that I do battle and struggle with anxiety. And in my meditation and in my prayer time, which I take very, very seriously, through that time, I ask the question and I seek to know why. And oftentimes the answer that is given to me is that I have this desire to control myself, not others. But in my need to control myself, if there's anything outside of me that is kind of inhibiting that, trying to control me or guide me or tell me what I need to do, then I feel anxious. I feel anxious because I can't control myself. And you know that feeling of anxiety, I call it the bubble guts, that feeling in your stomach. But what I've learned and what I've realized is that when I get real clear, both in my personal life and in my business, and I create strategies for myself, and I get clear about my intentions as to why I'm doing what I'm doing, why going this way is important, why, embarking on this endeavor is important. I'm allowed to nurture my creativity, to live by inspiration, and to not feel as though I have to have so much control, which is my true natural state, to just want to live, up in the clouds. But to nurture me and my ability or my need to live by inspiration, I believe it's important to get really clear on your intentions. It forces me to work on the mental gunk that's still kind of stuck in my brain from a childhood of whatever. We all have issues from mama, right? Or dad or whatever. And it forces me to challenge the way I look at things and why I'm doing what I'm doing. What's the purpose? What's the intention behind it? And is this intention truly rooted in something that will push me forward? If not, I don't do it. And my why, my wealth enhancing intention, is a spreadsheet that I use that helps me stay focused. I merge everything that I am from business and personal, from a business background into my personal life, and ensuring that I'm able to move forward. I believe as women and as people, we should all live, by inspiration, by letting the world kind of guide you through. But we have an untrained mind and an untrained body that doesn't understand how to live in this world. So our untrained mind and body needs structure. It needs boundaries. It needs tools to know what to do. If not, it runs amok. And we see this in our lives every day, right? From the way that we react to people, from anxiety to depression to, self-loathing to low self-esteem, you name it, to fear. It's an untrained mind that doesn't understand how to navigate through this world. So I create tools for myself to train my brain to listen to my heart and my spirit. And so, therefore, emotional wellness taps into that spiritual nature of us that is abundant, that knows, that is clear on intentions, that is clear on exactly our purpose in life, that doesn't understand the concept of fear, and that lives through motivation, that lives through inspiration, and lives through intention. myself, fear is one of those things that um, I have had to work on for the longest time. And I think that's for many of us, overcoming fear. I've always been pretty bold and confident, but fear shows itself up in so many different ways. And for me, fear shows up through guilt. Guilt and guilt therefore transfers into this need for me to want to control everything. And then, as I spoke before, um, it creates anxiety for myself. Have you ever thought about or ever considered that the more you focus on fear, that you kind of eventually create more things to fight? I've noticed that. I've noticed that the more that I focus on fighting fear, that I constantly have to fight fear. That I constantly have to fight to be who I am. And one of the things that I noticed about fear, I've noticed two things. We're either fighting fear, or fear kind of manifests itself when we're trying to fight to be who we are, and then the world rejects that. So that fear of like, how is the world going to perceive me, because no one is doing what I'm doing, no one is speaking the way in which I'm speaking, no one is dressing the way I'm dressing, no one is whatever it may be, and so fear comes in, that fear of rejection, right? And so we fight through it, when the reality is that it doesn't matter. But then the other way that fear shows up, in which we continuously have to recreate fear to fight more fear, is when we want to be accepted. We want to live, we want people to love us the way we are, and we want to fit into their mold. And then that fear of, like, I believe our spirit fighting our mind, the spirit's fighting our mind, because the spirit is like, that's not who you are. But you're fighting it because your body is like, but I gotta be like this. I gotta do this. I gotta show up this way, and because everyone else is expecting that, and that creates more fear. And so it shows up in everything. I believe it shows up in depression. I believe that's why some of us are depressed, because we want to be accepted. And I believe it's that fight with our spirit. But anyway, fear has been the thing for me that I've constantly had to fight through, and eventually stopped fighting it and just got rid of it. I don't need it. I don't need to fight fear. I don't need to be fearless. I need to be courageous, because courage is rooted in understanding the truth of who you are and showing up in the world and saying that I'm going to be this person, period. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight your perceptions. I'm not going to fight your rules. I'm not going to fight your laws. Hey, you can do what you want. I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to show up the way I was, because I understand the truth of who I am. Emotional wellness gets to that truth of who you are, where you don't have to fight. You don't have to fight the world. You don't have to always have your dukes up and ready to go for war. You just show up as you are. And for me, it has taken me to get to a space of letting go of control over everything, even letting go over relationships. I've had to have to do the hard work of letting go of the hope that my mother and I will have a real relationship. I had to let go of that control. And I've had to let go of the fear of what would happen if I didn't have my mother in my life. I had to stop fighting that, because I spent years fighting that fear that I had to have my mother, because everyone said that your mom got to be, and I had to let that go and be courageous enough to say that I have life standards. I have standards that I deserve to be treated with respect. I deserve to be looked at with appreciation, and I don't have to ask and fight for that. That what's most important is raising my children and fighting for a community and fighting for my children. But I don't have to fight another person to treat me well. That makes no sense to me today. But I have courage enough to say that, and to hold my head up high enough to believe it and walk in it, in the truth of who I am. And so therefore, again, in closing, fear is a myth. We have a choice. The one thing that we have been given above any other creature on earth is the ability to choose. You can choose love over fear. And I choose love and courage. I support women on that journey of being courageous enough to build a life that is reflective of who they are, with the right standards, with the right focus on the right purpose, so that they can build a business, they can build a lifestyle that is sustainable, that is creative, that is bold, and that is effective. And what I would love to give to you today, through my work in giving women strategies to help them, to support them, I create for myself what I call like a satchel. I love carrying big pocketbooks. I love big purses, so I love satchels. So what I have is a toolkit called the satchel, and I would love to give to you guys the mini satchel. And in that satchel includes some of my tools that help me stay focused on creating more abundance instead of focusing on any lack. It includes the why, wealth enhancing and strategies, wealth enhancing intentions, a strategy worksheet that I use every single day, honestly, to help me think through why I'm doing what I'm doing, so that I don't get distracted and I'm not doing more than what I need to do, and then anxiety shows up. And it keeps my mind clear. It keeps me focused on truly how to manifest my visions. And as a women entrepreneur, I also have in there what I call my WIN, W-I-N, what's important next. And that is my version of not having a to-do list and living life according to inspiration. And I would love to give that worksheet to you as well. Another tool that I would love to give you in my mini satchel, the first 5 days of my 21-day mental detox challenge. And this is a challenge that I created, inspired by my own personal journey and the journey of so many other women that I know and work with. And in teaching you how to identify the mental gunk that's still kind of creating and more gunk in your life and causing you to react to the world in a way that is not true of who you are, and to find that boldness to be liberated and to be who you are. And finally, I would love to give you a preview chapter of my book, Embrace Your Journey, which is a book written for the spiritual journey of women entrepreneurs. So I would love to give this to you so that you can hack into your own life, so that you can recode your life and recode your brain and begin to have your brain know that it doesn't run the show, that it's not in control, that your spirit and your heart is in control, and that with that you have been given everything that you need to create whatever life you choose to create, whatever that means for you. So I hope that these tools are a blessing to you, as they have been a blessing to me. And I look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you, Akila.